For you therefore that believe in the preciousness, but for such as disbelieve, the stone which the builders rejected, the same was made the head of the corner, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense. For they stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. But ye are an elect race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for God's own possession, that you may show forth the excellence of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, who in times past were no people, but now are the people of God, who had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. Beloved, I beseech you as sojourners and pilgrims, to abstain from fleshly lusts, which wage war against the soul, having your behavior seemingly among the Gentiles, that wherein they speak against you as evildoers, they may by your good works, which they behold, glorify God in the day of visitation.
All right, now we just got to stop and talk about this one, because there's a lot of good stuff here. I mean, so it's talking about you, Christians, those true Christians called to follow after Jesus and his footsteps and life of sacrifice and all of those qualifications. He's saying you are called to be a holy priesthood. He says, and then he goes on and he says, an elect race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for God's own possession, that you might show forth the excellencies of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. It's saying you are called to a whole different level of being. And again, you ask the question, what did the priesthood do? Who did they serve?
The people.
So they serve. Now, so if you look at this, and he's using the analogy of an Old Testament priesthood, which is very, very, very clear. When you look at the people, who would the people be?
They were the nation of Israel that they served.
So the priesthood now, who are they supposed to serve?
Everyone.
The rest of the people.
Mm-hmm. Those
who are not part of the priesthood. The unpriests. I don't know. Those who are not. And here's the thing. It says that by your good works, they, the people around you, because he's talking to them in terms of you as Christians versus them, the rest of the world. The last line, they may, by your good works, which they behold, glorify God. Now, is it saying glorify God right now, right in the here and now?
No. In the day of visitation.
So he's talking about a day to come when they, the people, will glorify God because of your good works. Now, see, there's a connection there, and now the question, whose sins did Jesus die for, I think, starts to spread itself out, starts to make itself a little bit more plain. And we had to go through all of that time and effort in the book of Hebrews to get this idea about the priesthood and their service and the high priest and his service to understand the connection that the apostle is making. Now, let's look at Galatians 3:27 through 29.
For as many of you as were baptized into Christ did put on Christ. There can be neither Jew nor Greek, there can neither be bond nor free, there can be no male and female, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. And if ye are Christ, then are ye Abraham's seed, and heirs according to the promise.
Okay, so if you are Christ's, if you are that royal priesthood that was spoken about in 1 Peter 2, then you are heirs according to the promise. What promise? Let's go over that promise one more time.
And that's found in Genesis 22:17 and 18. That in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heavens, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice.
So if you are Christ's, then you are Abraham's seed and inheritors, heirs, according to the promise. And what are you inheriting? You're inheriting the blessing that in your seed, it's not, you know what, it's not saying in your seed because you're the seed, you're the promised seed, you're going to be blessed. It's saying by you, all the nations of the world or the earth are going to be blessed. So what you inherit is the ability to bless, not just one or two, but all the nations. What does that mean? How do you put that in perspective? Because that's, I think, what this is drawing us to. Well, let's, again, just before the break here, let's go back to Hebrews one more time. And Jonathan, we're not going to read all of these scriptures just in the interest of time. But if we look at Hebrews chapter 9, let's start again. Let's start with verses 26 through 28.
For then he would have had to suffer again and again since the foundation of the world.
Okay, so in other words, Jesus is again saying he offered the sacrifice once for all. So there's no need to offer his sacrifice ever, ever, ever again.
But as it is, he has appeared once for all at the end of the age to remove sin by the sacrifice of himself.
Okay, now, at the end of the age, so at the end of a specific period of time, and remember when Jesus said to Israel, your house is left to you desolate? It was the end of the age. That was the end of a period of favor, and it was the beginning of a new age. So that's what that's referring to.
And just as it is appointed for mortals to die once, and after that the judgment, so Christ, having been offered once to bear the sins of many, will appear a second time, not to deal with sin, but to save those who are eagerly waiting for him.
So you have the idea that the offering for sin has been completed. That work is done. No need to bring it up again and again. We can look at it and we can honor and respect it, but the work itself is completely finished. And it says he will come again to finish what is built upon that work. So just like Christianity is built upon the base of the Jewish law, what this is saying is that the actual redemption work is built upon the sacrifice of Jesus. Okay, and he's saying that he's going to come back and do that. So we should actually take a break right now. Folks, we're talking about laying a foundation for understanding just whose sins did Jesus die for.
This is Jonathan and Rick with Christian Questions on News Talk 104.7 WXLM. Stay tuned.